we have to be aware, before jumping to any conclusions, that the Taínos did not have a sense of nationality. Each Yucayeque was basically independent from all the other Yucayeques. But they did have a political structure where they did help each other, and they did recognize each one's sovereignty. So the relationships between them were mostly very peaceful. It was based on treaties and negotiations. They honestly believed that treating people right prevented war and brought prosperity. That's why when Colón ended up crashing his ship on December 25th, 1492, in the Cacicasco of Marian, whose cacique was Guacanagari, he immediately sought to have a relationship with him and try to form a treaty. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So the Cacicascos were hereditary, and they were passed down in a very particular way. So many have been taught that the Taínos were matrilineal. But that's not the case. It's just that they used the system to guarantee that that child, that boy, was from that particular family. So the way they did this was that, for example, if I have a brother and the next cacique would be my son, because I am a direct relative to my brother. And even though my brother might have 7,000 wives, who knows who they're messing with? They had the freedom. So that's why it would go through the female line in order to guarantee that, that came from your sister, so it's from your family. However, this wasn't the case for all the caciques. Sometimes it was the first wife or the preferred wife. The first son would be the next cacique. I talked in another section about the cacique dress, what they wore, but they also had particular pieces of furniture or items that went with them. This was called a duo, and it was a ceremonial chair only used by el cacique or cacica. They were also prepared a certain kind of casabe called habjao. It was a very thin casabe, and it was not only given to the cacique, it could also be given to his family members or somebody of renown or importance in the village. And also to note that not all of the caciques were put into their position through hereditary means. Sometimes it was a council of elders of the village who decided who was the next cacique. And some of the qualities that they would look for would be honesty, valor, diplomacy, and capacity to serve others. So we know that the older members of the Yucayeque would participate in the formation of the youth of the town. And the evaluations that they did of the young ones was in order to help them develop the skills that they naturally had. So the caciques were no exception. In the towns, as I said, that didn't have a hereditary designation for the caciques, a cacique position could be won. So the cacique authority wasn't only within the town. It included the surrounding areas. So these were areas where they farmed, where they fished, where they hunted, where they got their supply of water, of wood, of other foods, and other supplies. So apparently there was a pact between these tribal families. These pacts caused all the formation of federations that we call cacicascos. This cacicasco had a principal cacique, and this principal cacique could convene the other caciques of the other Yucayeques that were within the federation. He could call them for war, for even trips, for advice and celebrations. And some were called 3 levels of cacique. So the cacique of the cacicasco, a secondary chief, and then the village chief. The prestige of the caciques would be demonstrated through the number of names that they had. Similar to European royalty in some cases where they had many names. In 1492, these were the caciques of the cacicascos. Beiquio en Jaragua, Caunabo y Anacaona en Maguana, Guacanagarí en Marián, y Guarionex en Magua. The fifth kingdom was Higüey, who had a queen, una cacica llamada Jiquanama.